go. That's how we get things rolling today. Dogs on the run, and boy, it does feel like a dog day Monday morning here, doesn't it? Because the Browns lost yesterday 31-17 to the Detroit Lions in a game that I think a lot of Browns fans would like to do over, because I think they think the Browns could have won that game yesterday. As I go back and watch that game again and think about that game, Detroit just played better than the Browns did in the second half, and that's why they lost. The Browns may think they have a better team. They don't. They don't. Not after yesterday. The Lions were a better team.
No, the Lions made more plays. In reading people on Twitter and Facebook, and everybody wants to complain that they want to drop it all on Brandon Weeden. And I don't understand why people want to throw the entire loss on that kid, because the defense was gouged in the second half. People want to say, oh, the defense was on the field too long. They weren't on the field too long. It's the NFL. You got to give the Lions credit. They made plays, Andy. That's what it came down to. And in the fourth quarter, Matt Stafford, there was one stat during the game. Stafford had 116.7 rating in the fourth quarter with 3 touchdowns. The kid's a really good quarterback. He was a #1 pick for the Lions for a good reason. He made plays. That's what it came down to. The Lions came back and won. I mean, that bottom line. It was not the Browns' best effort in the second half of that football game.
All right, phone lines are already piling up. Why don't you give us a call at 216-431-3820, or you can Skype in at Dogs on the Run. We'd much rather see you than hear you. Or then talk to you on the phone. But if you want to call in, call in. We want to talk to you that way, too.
Yes.
Also, want to remind you that we invite you to take this on the road with you. That's why it's Dogs on the Run. What you want to do is download the Newsnet 5 app right here to your smartphone, and then you want to listen in your car on the way to work. And that's we'll take care of you. We'll make that ride in really quick. You'll get a chance to hear from all of our experts. One of the things, though, we're going to do is we're going to start things off by going back to the newsroom and talk to Connor Kiesel, who is running the station, I guess, as far as social media is concerned. What is the scoop on social media this morning, my friend?
That pretty much sums it up, Andy. The scoop on social media, lots of talk about Brandon Weeden. I know, Mike, you said it rightly about the defense struggling, but it always falls on the quarterback. We have right now on Newsnet5.com a GIF of the Weeden interception that some are calling the worst in NFL history. That's a bit of an overstatement, but it was pretty horrible. So we want to know, do you think it was the worst interception you've ever seen from a quarterback? The flip to Obadiah that went the wrong way.
Gotcha. And a GIF is what? A GIF is the opposite of a JPEG?
Pretty much. It's an animated photo.
Oh, there you go.
You can see it in motion.
Live this show is so educational, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I had no idea what a GIF was. I thought it was something that went with jelly and you put it on bread.
Well, I knew what it was. I just didn't know. I didn't know the technical term. And I got to tell you, it looks like a lonely place in the newsroom this morning. Normally we make fun of you. Oh, someone's bopping up in their head, backing down.
Except for the football.
Is that Kelly back there?
I think it is. She may be.
She totally photobombed you just now.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely.
We'll get Jackie traffic for the next one, maybe.
All right. Well, tell Jackie we need to talk to her because we have issues with her.
Yeah.
She needs to come.
Oh boy.
We have major issues.
You know she watched the game yesterday, of course.
No, she didn't. We know she didn't. All right. Thank you, Connor. We'll talk to you in a little bit. We're going to hear from Angry Browns fan in a couple seconds, but we're going to go right to the phone lines this morning, and we are going to start things off with Tyrone, who's in Cleveland. What's up, Ty?
How you doing?
Hey, Tyrone.
What'd you think of that game yesterday?
I think it sucked.
Yeah, well, I think that's what most people think.
Why?
And I don't understand why won't they pay Campbell?
That's a great question, and we talked about it last night on the Ford Sports Sunday. I think he's in the doghouse. I mean, I really do. I think they're mad at him for that last play against the Ravens when he threw the ball underhand exactly the same way that Weeden did yesterday. Unless there's some contract issues or something else going on there, he clearly appears to be in the doghouse. I'm sure the locker room wasn't happy in the beginning when they jumped him to go to Brian Hoyer. Where does that happen when you've got a guy that's played in the NFL for 8 years? It's very confusing.
Yeah, go to a 4th-string quarterback and sit the 1st string on the bench.
So what do you want him to do? You want him to start Campbell next week?
Yeah.
All right. Any other things we can fix for you while we're here, just trying to make sure your life is good?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for calling in, Tyrone. Have a great day, man.
Appreciate it. Here's the thing with Jason Campbell, and maybe a lot of people don't realize it. That was not the Browns' first choice for the 2nd-string quarterback. They were targeting Brian Hoyer all along. But the things with Brian Hoyer didn't move along as fast as they wanted. They needed to get a 2nd-string quarterback going into camp.
Yeah, but here's what I'm not buying.
They jumped at Jason Campbell.
All right, I'll listen to that.
They reached.
I'm just not buying it, though. Why wouldn't they have made him the 2nd-string quarterback right out of the gate?
I think he's a run-first quarterback. For all the years he's been in the league, and he's had some good years, but for the most part, he's a run-first quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to sit in the pocket and throw balls all over the place.
But what doesn't it doesn't make sense. If he was the number 2 quarterback all along, he should have been the number 2 quarterback.
But that's what I'm saying.
They
He's
set themselves
technically
up.
not the number 2 quarterback.
Campbell or Hoyer?
Campbell. Hoyer was your number 2 quarterback all along, which is why he became the starter.
So why did they have him in a sweatsuit for the first 2 weeks of the season?
I'm just saying. There's a reason why. I'm just saying.
It doesn't make any sense at all. 216-431-3820 or hit us on Skype. Dogs on the Run. We're going to give you Angry Browns fan in a second. That should be good. If you've never seen it before, it's worth sticking around for. And make sure you want to listen to it in your car. It's a guy that reads tweets during the game, and then he puts them on camera and he puts them on YouTube. And he is the Angry Browns fan.
And he's angry.
Priceless. He's very angry.
He's very angry.
Angry today.
Yes.
We go back to the phone lines and we talk to Mark in Cuyahoga Falls. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
How you doing?
What's going on with you?
Yeah.
What's up in the Falls?
Oh, not much, man. I was just thinking there's a lot more worries than weed, and in the station, you guys should be talking about Washington D.C., not this vanity crap with the Browns. That's the real news. Disgraceful.
What would you like for us to talk about in Washington D.C.?
No, I'm serious. This time should be dedicated to the vets in Washington and not vanity.
Well,
like the
I agree
Browns.
with you. There's also space on this website right now where you can see
but
that we
you
have
guys
stories
need to
on
talk,
it.
It's your whole station and all these stations. They're spoon-feeding us a bunch of crap when the real issues are not being covered.
So,
It's
Mark,
not
what
your
would you
fault,
like?
But come on, guys.
Hey, Mark, you called the show
It's
called
all vanity.
Mark, you called the show called
Well,
Dogs on the
listen,
Run.
okay,
What would you like
then
us to talk
this.
about?
I'll say this. Why
Say this,
do
Mark. That's
Browns
why you're on
fans
the air.
Keep going back. Why do they keep going back and giving money to these guys when they never get a good quality product in return? Why are there still even Browns fans?
Wait, I thought you wanted to talk about Washington,
D.C.
D.C., Mark. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Why do they keep giving money to this team?
You asked me to change the subject.
Okay, all right, so let's talk about the Browns. Let's talk about the Browns. Why does who keep giving money?
I don't understand why there are even Browns fans when you guys are getting suckered and duped into buying tickets for a team that's not going to go anywhere because they're just stringing you along for the money.
Mark, were you a Browns fan at one point?
I was before they rebuild. I don't like the rebuild of Browns. We're in how many years of rebuild of Browns?
Since '99.
Yeah, it's rebuild of Browns, rebuld of Browns,
I get it.
rebuild of Browns. And we're
but
getting
Mark,
strung along.
listen, Mark, if you're so angry about the Browns, why are you wasting your time watching them on Sunday? Why do you care?
I'd rather watch college, honestly.
Well, good. I like watching college,
I'm more
too.
of an Akron U fan and a Kent State fan than I am a Browns fan.
There you
Well,
go.
there's nothing wrong with that. Put your passion into that. To be angry about the Browns, I mean, it is what it is. Don't let the millionaires ruin your day. That's what I always say. You good with that?
Guys.
Mark, you
Yeah,
have an
I'm good.
outstanding day. Thank you for giving us your opinion, though. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, take care. Mark was an angry Browns fan this morning. That's all right,
He
though.
was angry on a lot of different levels. He went national, he went global, and then he came back local. So it was nice to reel him back in.
See, it was good, but that's what Dogs on the Run is all about. There are absolutely no rules. You want to talk politics with us? Are you kidding? This guy can go politics. He worked in D.C. We got no problems with that. It's all good. All right, so one of the things that happens during the game yesterday is that people want to tweet throughout the game. And they are angry. They are angry Browns fans.
Yeah.
And there's this guy on the web. His name's Brad, and he does Angry Browns fan, and he does it for Dogs on the Run, too. So what does the angry Browns fan have to say today?
I'm the Angry Browns fan, and I bring your post to life. This week, the Cleveland Browns lose to the Lions, and Brandon Weeden, well, he got fans angry this week. I'll say this for Weeden, he could slide better than Hoyer. Someone please tell TJ Ward he's allowed to use his arms when he tackles. Don't know who's worse, the refs or the broadcasters. Does Jordan Cameron wear an invisible cape when Weeden plays? Timeout, 48 touchdown dance. Back down to earth. Everyone needs to settle down. We're back to the plan. 3-13. Hashtag Johnny Football. Weeden blows it again. Officially, Browns 6 total yards in the third. WTF? Seriously, WTF? You can't fix stupid. Time for Bottlegate. This game is pissing me off. It's a wrap. Weeden gave this one away. Nice to see that the replacement ref showed up today. Weeden just pulled a Weeden. Only Weeden could throw a shovel pass for an interception. Can we resign Thaddeus Lewis? Roethlisberger should teach Weeden how to ride a motorcycle. And that's it for this week. The next time you're angry at the Browns, use the hashtag #AngryBrownsFan, and I may take your post and put it in a video. Until next time, stay angry, Cleveland.
Did you see a play you just didn't like? Post right now, you got the right. All the bad moves in Cleveland. Use a hashtag Angry Browns fan.
Wow.
That's a good one.
The Rachel one was unbelievable.
Oh, the motorcycle one was unbelievable. Oh, man.
I'll read you some of the stuff that I had on Facebook a little bit later.
Wow.
But, woo, that was interesting. Let's bring in one of our members of the team, and he would be Kenny Roda, who's hanging out in the Road Cave this morning. By the way, if you want to call in, 216-431-3820, or Skype in the way Kenny is right now, Dogs on the Run. Kenny, does Brandon Weeden deserve all the blame for this game? We're doing pantomime this morning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix it.
And he's got the good mic on, too. Those are really expensive. You can fly an airplane with those things. Oh, so close. Oh,
wait, hang on.
No.
now we can hear you.
Does that work any better?
Much better.
perfect.
All right, the plane is now taking
All right,
off.
I'm taking the headsets off. How's that work? Does that
the
work
expensive
okay?
headsets didn't work. Look
All
at
right.
that.
So does Brandon Weeden deserve all the credit for yesterday's loss, Kenny?
Not all of it, but boy, is that one of the worst passes you've ever seen in the history of the National Football League. I tweeted out yesterday, and by the way, self-plug here, at the Kenny Roda if you want to tweet me during the games and that. I tweeted out that if the NFL called me to do those top 10 lists that we get to do like once every 2 years or whatever, about the worst pass thrown in the history of the NFL, that would be top 5 for sure, because it was just disastrous as far as the location. They were in Detroit territory, the score of the game, and he just decides to flick it and throw it out there. And did that not hang up in the air? I thought somebody was going to call for a fair catch as they were waiting for that thing to come down. So he deserves a lot of the blame, but not all of the blame, guys.
All right, Kenny, with 6 minutes to go in the game, I went to Twitter and said, look, here's Brandon Weeden's opportunity. If he wants to get all the critics off his back, all he has to do is have a drive and tie this game up. If he doesn't, he's going to put fuel on the fire. And it turned out to be gasoline when it was all said and done.
Oh, my bonfire, too. Not just, now that's a fire. Remember Eddie Murphy when he did the stand-up? That's what Brandon Weeden did yesterday. That was a fire. There's no doubt about that. Boy, you're pulling for the kid. You're hoping that after what Hoyer did, the local kid and everything like that, that maybe he learned from watching on the sidelines. He threw the costly interception in the first half, deep in Detroit territory. It cost him at least 3 points when he threw that first pick. And then there you are marching down the field. You're at the 44, and then he drops back and throws that pick, and you just shake your head and you say, what are they going to do? Do they continue to ride this kid? Because I wrote it down, guys. I made a little Post-it note here. I still do the Post-it notes.
Nice pink.
I wrote it down. Rob Chudzinski's post-game press conference on Weeden. He was asked 4 different times about Weeden's performance, the interception, and what he thought. And his responses were, we'll have to check. I have to look at the tape. I would just have to look at the tape. And I think we have to look at the tape. So Chud wouldn't come out and throw him under the bus. He gave the standard coach speak of, we'll have to look at the tape. I don't think you need to look at the tape to know how bad both of those passes were.
But Kenny, he can't throw him under the bus. I mean, what else is he going to say? You've only got 2 quarterbacks, and neither of them are going to win football games for you. What's Chud supposed to do? I don't think Jason Campbell is going to win football games for you.
What you say there is, you know what? I'm sure Brandon would love to have that one back. It was not a good pass, and those are the mistakes we need to correct, because it was nobody else's fault on that pass play, okay? It was his. He needs to take I take that back. Sure, he could have taken the sack, and somebody didn't block, so there was somebody else who had a breakdown. But at that point, you've got to manage the game, and that's what Brandon Weeden, I think, has to do if he's going to remain the quarterback of this team. He's a game manager, and then hopefully you hit a big play here and there, but just don't turn the football over, because the defense on this team is pretty good. Now, in the second half, the defense did not play well. They were exposed, and this is an area where I was surprised it took this long for somebody to expose them. But the middle of the field on defense, when you play Ray Horton's style of defense where you blitz that much, the middle of the field is going to be open. And if your linebackers and safeties can't cover, you're going to get exposed and you're going to get beat. And guess what? The linebackers cannot cover. Robertson, DeQuell Jackson, Barkevius Mingo, Jabal Sheard, they can't cover. And Detroit exposed them yesterday. And I thought a couple of weeks ago it was going to be Cincinnati who was going to expose them with Eifert, the tight end, and Grisham, their tight end. They did not. Yesterday, adjustments at halftime by Detroit, and they exposed them with a third-string undrafted rookie free agent tight end.
But, Kenny, that's what happens when you play that style of defense. When the style is based on blitzing and pressure, if you don't get the pressure, and Ray Horton has said it a million times, if we don't get to the quarterback, we're in trouble. And guess what? They play the same style offense again this week with the Packers, who have way more weapons than the Lions, and do the same dink, dank, and dunk over the middle. They'll never throw the deep ball on you. Jordy Nelson will be over the middle all day long. So they'll have to do something real quick because they're facing an even better offense this week.
Yeah, but don't forget, because from a fantasy perspective, they lost 2 key players to injury yesterday. James Jones and Randall Cobb went down. Now, we don't know if they're going to be out at all. This week we'll have to follow that throughout the week with the injury reports and everything like that. So if Jones and Cobb don't play, you put Joe Hayden on Jordy Nelson. Frank's the tight end there is the guy that you'll have to watch. So it could be an advantage, a plus for the Browns with those injuries. But you're right. They run a lot of crossing patterns, and then eventually they'll lull you to sleep, and then they'll use that rollout, that bootleg, that waggle, whatever you want to call it, with Aaron Rodgers like they did yesterday and hook up on a long ball.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. Make sure you check him out at kennyroda.com. We're going to come back to you in about 20 minutes. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Kenny Roda
Kenny.
checking in with us.